had more than one. We've had almost every kind of conversation. Happy and friendly conversations, and ones where I wanted to rip his head off. That goes with his job and mine. But thank you for always coming back. You know our door is open to you. It is wonderful to be here with Mayor Menino. And I just want to say, you know, when we filed the Ed Reform bill, there were a lot of people who told us that as important, as effective, as wise as this bill and the aspirations of it would be, it was unlikely to pass because it was yet another hard vote that we were asking the legislature to take. Complicated issues, politically tricky issues. This mayor and the coalition that he described of unlikely participants, and it really is an important point, delivered. And delivered not a political victory alone, but a victory for young people in this Commonwealth. I was proud to work with you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. And Bill, it's wonderful to see you here today. I hope you're going to help with the Q&A when we get to this as well. But I think of Mayor Scanlon's partnership on a whole host of levels. I'm particularly thinking of an example of the use of Recovery Act money. I think we're putting a, is it parking garage up? Key parking garage? Or is that a sensitive issue I shouldn't bring up? Just keep putting it up. Okay, well, listen, I just want to anticipate what your example of what I know is true of everybody here in this meeting this morning, and that is that you have come with your standard list of non-negotiable demands. So I'm just going to try to keep my remarks as brief as possible about a couple of things that are coming up in the budget that we will file. And then with the time remaining, we can have some conversation with me and the mayor and the mayor. This is one of those places where you say mayor and everybody's head turns. But thank you again for having me here. And I also want to acknowledge the Lieutenant Governor who will be with you this evening. The Lieutenant Governor is a key partner of mine and also of yours. I hope you know that. And like Bob Nunes, who's over here, he is, Bob, as you know, is another former mayor and a valued member of our team. He, the Lieutenant Governor, many, many others know better than most in state government how the Commonwealth's strength depends on you and the strength of your communities. Another example of that spirit of true state and local partnership is Secretary Jay Gonzalez, who is here as well. Jay, just raise your hand. Jay is Secretary of A&F. You probably all know that. Sometimes we refer to him as Mr. God Rocks. These days, I guess not so often as Mr. God Rocks. Wish we had rocks, I guess is the way it would be. Secretary Gonzalez is here to address any details that you may have during the Q&A session. He does a really great job for all of the Commonwealth, and I appreciate it. I don't have to tell you, Jeff did already, you know it from your experiences. You're living in the worst economic downturn in 80 years. People and businesses were hammered last year. There's just no simple way to put it. And most governments, state governments and local governments, have been managing through a fiscal crisis. In public agencies and private lives alike, we are all having to learn to do more, with less. We all know that the only way out is by working together. We know that intellectually, but we have to work at it. There is a brighter tomorrow, but we are going to have to pull together, bring our creativity and our perseverance to bear to get there. Slowly but surely, Massachusetts is coming around. With the innovation industries, IT, biotech, life sciences, healthcare, they are the ones leading the way. And as we recover, it's critical that we keep reaching out to each other and that we use the power of partnership to move us forward. We have confronted our challenges and kept moving forward. We have faced and closed a cumulative budget gap of $9 billion at the state level. We've made the painful choices. We've gotten the concessions from our employees, and furloughs, and pay freezes, and reductions in headcount. We've delivered 3 budgets now that were responsible, balanced, and on time, which is something not many other states can say. Meanwhile, we are first in the nation in student achievement, first in the nation in healthcare coverage for our residents, and first in the nation in clean and alternative energy policy, something I'm very, very proud of because I think that in particular sets a whole new foundation for our economic future. We have fixed abuses in the state pension system, we've tightened the ethics and lobbying laws, we have simplified the transportation bureaucracy and abolished the Turnpike Authority, and now, as the mayor said, Mayor Menino said, we have delivered on education reform for a part of our community, kids stuck in the achievement gap, who have been there, frankly, for too long. And we are investing more in infrastructure, in roads, rails, and bridges, in public and affordable housing, in open space acquisition and preservation, in public and college and university campus restorations than ever before in the history of the Commonwealth. And that means jobs now and value for years. There are early signs of turnaround. State revenues over the last few months have been ahead of estimates, which prompted a couple of you to come up to me already and say, could you do this, could you do that? Collections are looking positive so far this month, which is also good news. I think everybody on our team, probably very much like on yours, is tired of the perpetual budgeteering we've had to do for the last 18 months. Economists and budget groups estimate that our revenues will begin slowly to grow in the latter half of this fiscal year. These are all positive steps, but we remain vigilant and realistic about the seriousness of the challenges ahead of us. Just to give you a sense of scale about what we've been dealing with at the state level, sometimes people say that even the 2,000 positions we have eliminated are not enough and we should just eliminate more. In fact, we are having to lay off more, but you could lay off every single state worker and not close this budget gap. We have $1 billion plus left to close if everybody was laid off. No one has ever faced this kind of fiscal challenge at the state level, and I am grateful to all of my team and all of the citizens of the Commonwealth for understanding the scope of this challenge. Just like you, there are no easy decisions. Next week, I will submit my budget proposal for the next fiscal year, for fiscal 2011, and it will reflect the reality of our current economic crisis. And I want to tell you about a couple of things in it that I know will be of particular interest to you. First, I will propose to fund local aid at more than $5.2 billion. This level of investment will allow us to fund general government aid, regional school transportation, and the pilot program at the same level next year as this year. Now, I know two things. You were hoping for more, and you were bracing for less. I know you have hard decisions to make in your own budgets and see the faces, as I do, behind every line item that you're confronting. I hope you will appreciate that this reflects our commitment to the strength of local communities. And under the circumstances, it's pretty good. There is a handout with information for each of you for your particular communities about what this means for you. Where's that handout, Jay? Out back? All right, great. Secondly, investing in education is, I believe, the single most important investment that we can make in building a better, stronger Commonwealth. And because I know a great school needs innovation as well as money, I was very proud to be with the mayor and so many others of you here today to sign the education bill on Monday at the Children's Museum here in Boston. That bill, I believe, is a watershed moment for kids. Kids in that achievement gap I talked about, poor kids, or kids who speak English as a second language, or who have special needs, more often than not kids of color. And that has been an educational challenge for us, an economic problem, and a moral issue. And I'm very, very proud that the legislature stepped up and that we're able to provide these new tools, new rules, and new supports for teachers and schools to get at that achievement gap. I think this bill will give those kids. Now, I know that money matters for schools too, and that is why I will propose